honey, welcome back. So I don't quite know what this video is going to be. It could be my weekly video with my good girlfriend Jan Van. It could be me just sitting here talking to you. I don't know, but I'm just gonna plan makeup, and I'm going to try to use the brushes, new brushes that I got from Danessa, Myricks. Now, if I do a copy kitty look, I'll put the picture up here so you can see it, and we'll just go from there. Okay, I have not really had a chance to sit down and play with my makeup. I'm just gonna do it for a little bit. I'm gonna update you on what's going on. Yeah. Okay. So I had some makeup on because I was working, as I always am. Actually been thinking of trying to like bring in more income, and I was like, okay, maybe I can apply to do adjunct teaching again. I was like, I hate that. I don't like doing it. It's almost just like not worth it because of the time and energy that I at least put into it, and the lack of pay. It doesn't pay very well. So basically I'm gonna just keep praying that things turn around, Lord Jesus. Okay, so let's look at some palettes. I'm going to use, I think, the Delicious Delights palette from Cosmic Beauty. There's that. And I also have the Blends palette from Blend Bunny. And maybe, so I want to use some purple, maybe the Gothic palette from Cosmic Beauty. So I'm not quite sure. Just gonna see what happens. Okay, so I'm going to start with the My Yummy 36 brush, and this one is the Yummy Edge Round, and I'm going to use that to put some of this primer on my eyelid. So would you like to hear some news? You would, wouldn't you? You just would. So, of course, I've been perusing the interwebs and everything, as I am wont to do. I came across this really interesting story from Australia, and I feel like I learned something. Okay, you learn something new every day. Now, they had to, the hospital, they had to come out with a plea to the public to not bring venomous snakes into the hospital, into the ER. And I'm like, how did we get here? So basically, some folks, lots of folks, most folks, apparently, when they've gotten a snake bite, they have tried to catch the snake. They've tried to catch the snake and bring it into the hospital. And the like director of the hospital is like, don't do that, because you're putting yourself and us at more risk by trying to find this snake, trying to grab it, and trying to put it in a bag or something and bring it up over to the hospital. Okay? And so I was actually surprised. Okay. Since we watch television, I know I'm not the only one foolish enough to not realize that you shouldn't bring the snake. Like, I don't know that I would try to catch the snake. I don't know, okay? But, like, because on, like, House and, like, all these other medical dramas, I feel like that's how we learn that you need to bring in the thing so that we know what we're working with. But the doctor made a really good point. These medical professionals are not trained to identify snakes, to like differentiate them and stuff. When I think about it, that makes so much sense. It makes so much sense. Why do we think? Basically, they said the best thing you could do, leave that snake alone and come over to the ER. Okay? I don't know. I feel like this is new information. I feel like this is new information that I didn't really know about. I mean, because I can see both sides. I can see you thinking, I done got bit by that snake. Let me grab the snake and let me take it with me to the hospital so they know what they dealing with. This is snake. This the one that bit me. So that we know what type of medicine I have to get. I had no idea that you ain't supposed to bring that snake. Like, am I the only one? Am I the only... Listen, okay? I'm excellent in the field of psychology. I don't claim to have any sense over nothing else. I don't claim it because sometimes I don't know what I'm thinking nor doing. So I'm putting that out there. But they're just like, FYI, leave it alone and don't bring these venomous snakes up into this ER. Now, what people bring the snakes in, also, I'm just like, well, I don't know, okay? It's reminding me of a guy who was coming from Canada to New York, and he had pythons in his pants. Actual pythons. That's not being dirty. He had 2 pythons, one on each leg, strapped to the leg in his pants. Basically, they are like, leave it alone. And then they say, this is what people are bringing the snakes in. They are bringing them in just like Tupperware and bags. So at this point... I'm like, okay, yeah, I can see that not being the smartest. But what else you gonna put it in? Oh my God, and how many of us have all that Tupperware? We have the bowl and we can't find the top. I wouldn't even be able to bring it in a Tupperware because I'd be like, I can't find the top to this bowl. Like, I'm gonna put some foil on it? Child, I don't, like, they really just blew my mind with that. They really did. I was like, oh, because at first I'm like, yeah, people stupid. I'm like, you know what? I feel like we were told by the doctors on ER that you need to bring the snake in. So I just need y'all to figure out the appropriate information you're giving us. Now I'm going to go in with the Yummy Applicator, the smooth one. This is number 25. And I'm going to go into this shade here called Ice Pop. Oh no. When you sit back and think about it, it makes sense that you shouldn't do that. Like, okay, no, you're right. But I could see myself doing it. I could see it. Like, hey doc, I brought the snake. They're like, ma'am, how about no? Why don't you go home, drop the snake off, come back, and hopefully you alive enough for us to work on you. So apparently, over here, like in a city about 4 hours from Brisbane, there's like a snake handler, and he's always having to go to the hospital and like pick up these snakes that people just be bringing. Just cold bringing these snakes up into the ER. I thought that would... Let me know if you knew that. I'm sure you did. I'm sure you did. Because there are a lot of smart people here. I don't know if in this particular situation, I don't know that I'm on the smart list, okay? Because I get it. I get it. I get why you would take it. That's why... Yeah. That's why we don't need to be getting our information from ER, house, and the first 48. That's exactly why. Instead of picking up the remote, we need to pick up a book. So that leads me to another story where somebody was picking something up that they should have left down. They should not have picked up what was put down. There's a young woman, I think she's about 30, 31, 32, in South Africa. And a few years ago, like, basically she was in school and she was getting like a stipend every month, or somebody was giving her money, somebody official, and it would just go into her account, and it totaled to like 100 euros a month. Just throwing you a little $100 to do what you got to do, right? Now, there was some sort of glitch, and somehow she got 900,000 euros placed into her bank account. When I tell you mama didn't wait 2 seconds, she went out and started spending that money, okay? Like, if the money direct deposited at 8, she was at the store at 8:01. Like, she didn't ask no questions, she didn't tell no lies. And I feel like we all have had that thought of, what if that happened? And, you know, all of a sudden it's just like a cool million just sitting up in my bank account. What would you do? Listen, given the country I'm in and the color I am, I would leave it right there. I'm gonna call the bank and be like, ma'am, can you take this out of my account? Y'all playing too much. But honey, not Miss Ma'am. She went ahead and started spending that money. In 3 months, she spent $50,000. She bought herself some designer clothes. She was getting like top shelf alcohol. She got herself a couple new phones. I'm sure she got that new iPhone. She was living her actual best life. So like I said, she spent $50,000. At some point, the bank noticed, and they're like, this is not her normal level of transaction, right? It's also not, she don't be having all this money up in here. So they alert the authorities, and they go ahead and they find Miss Ma'am. They find her, and she is arrested, and they charge her with fraud and theft. Now, just how swiftly she was spending that money, the law moved just as swiftly. And she was tried and found guilty, and she was sentenced to 5 years in jail. But then, this is, God favors his children or something, because all of a sudden then 2 judges overturned they suspended the sentence. They suspended it, and they just told her that she has to do 14 weeks of community service and she has to go to therapy. I don't know how we went from 5 years in jail to 14 weeks in community service and going to therapy. What's that? That's a little over 3 months. So she just has to do community service for the summer, essentially, right? And the part that got me was like somebody is favoring, she done prayed to the right gods, is that she don't have to pay the money back. I have never heard that. Now, if there was one thing that like made you consider crime, it's this, because she don't have to pay the money back. She have to pay it back. And then her solicitor, her lawyer gets up there and is like, she just really wants to put all of this behind her and have a fresh start. Put it all behind her? She literally committed fraud and theft. What we putting behind? Listen, she must be related to somebody high up in the government, or I don't know. I don't know what she did or who she is to be able to get away with this. And listen, she could just go about her merry life. Go about her merry life. I wonder how much she just has to do 14 weeks of community service. I wonder how much community service. Like, if you say 14 weeks, do I just have to do a day? Like 1 day a week? That's the part I don't know. Or who, like, whose money was it? Like, does that matter? Does that matter? Who glitched the system? Who did that? Are they in trouble? What if they are in more trouble than she is? And ma'am was going to spend all that money if that bank didn't catch her. She was on a roll She was like, all right, let's see here. And not only that, not only did she buy material things, she also just went out having a good old time, like going to parties, going to clubs. Man. I'm just, like, they were like, she just really wants to get back to her life and put this behind her. Put this really difficult time in her life behind her. Girl, wasn't nothing difficult. Wasn't nothing difficult. You had yourself a good old time. Now you got, like, your designer clothes and bags and you know, new phone. Girl, and you could keep it. Something ain't right. Something, I don't know. That's interesting. She don't have to pay it back. I ain't never heard that. That is interesting. She don't have to pay it back. That's not gonna put a stop to crime. If that's gonna encourage it, I'm over here like, Some girl was like, I ask no questions. It's in my account. I am going to use it. Please and thank you. But nobody in her life, like, nobody in her life was like, hey, girl, Tammy, where you get all that money from? You know what? Don't ask questions. Plausible deniability. Don't ask questions. So I just use a bit of spray brush cleaner, and it's coming off pretty well. Of course, I just used a blue, so I would definitely still have to wash the brush, but seems like it came off pretty well. Okay, so now I'm going to go in with the Blends palette from Blend Bunny and use the shades Dream and Giggle. I just want to mix those a little bit as like a transition. Did I say this in my head or out loud? Since it's a matte shade, I'm probably going to end up going over it a bit more just because of my eyelids creasing. So we'll get to that point as we'll get there. Okay. Now I'm going into the shade Signs right here, and probably will go into Bewitched. So essentially I'm just making my way down this row for the purples. I'm really liking this brush. I like the length of it. It's very soft. Yeah, I really like that. So I think we went to Australia, South Africa, and now we're going to take a stop over in Belgium. This one, y'all, like, let me tell you something. I'm learning everything. Like, I'm learning something new every day. There was a man there's a Belgian man. His name has not been released. Now, first in the story, I was like, excuse? So this man has been acquitted of drunk driving. Hold on. Because I know we all are like, excuse me? No. The reason he has been acquitted is that 3 doctors have confirmed that he has auto brewery syndrome. Auto brewery syndrome. You know, brewery where they be brewing beer, right? Okay, I think we're going to go into Serpent and Phantom from the Gothic palette from Cosmic Beauty. Yeah. What is that? You're wondering? Oh, child. I ain't never in life heard of this. But basically, ABS is when a person's body produces alcohol. And the alcohol, it's the same alcohol that comes in your drink. Now, they didn't say whether it was like tequila, rum, vodka, you know, I don't know, rosé. I'm not sure. I don't know if it really matters, because this man's body produces alcohol. Somebody is going to run with that excuse. Somebody is going to lace up their shoes and bolt like Usain. Like, I didn't know that was such a thing. I had no idea. I didn't know. When I tell you I didn't know. Now, here's the thing. I imagine that this is very upsetting. It's a very upsetting, like, condition to have. I want a little bit more info. I bet you it's a whole bunch of us researching this right now, because okay. So it's also called gut fermentation syndrome. It's a rare, underdiagnosed medical condition. It's caused by fermentation of ingested carbohydrates by gut fungi, resulting in endogenous production of ethanol. Yeah, ethanol, man. Oh, but wait. Okay, so it doesn't, you're not born with it. It can develop, especially if you have other intestinal issues. But let me tell you something. It says frequent or long-term antibiotic use can alter the gut microbiome, resulting in fungal overgrowth. Eating a diet high in carbs and processed foods may also cause gastrointestinal problems. Research shows that people with autobrewery syndrome often report eating a high sugar, high carb diet. Who does it? Who? Ooh, yeah. It's less than 100 cases reported worldwide. But didn't they just say that it was underdiagnosed? This is interesting. In California, it says it is unlawful for a person who is under the influence of any alcoholic beverage to drive a vehicle. Of course, someone with autobrewery syndrome, it should be not system, cannot be convicted of violating this statute because they have not consumed any alcoholic beverage. Why is all this information if it's only 100 cases worldwide? I agree that it might be underdiagnosed. Let me know if you've ever heard of this. Because I have so many questions. I don't know how it presents itself. Like, is it... What am I trying to say here? Like, how do you know? You know, like, how do you know? I mean, this is probably so traumatizing to this man, because I think he actually worked at a brewery. I don't know if that helped or hurt his defense, but like, I guess how would you find out? That would make me real uncomfortable. I imagine it's distressing. And I shouldn't do this, but I'm going to. Like, is it can you, somehow, harness that alcohol and But I guess you wouldn't have to ingest it, right? Because it's going to have the same effects as alcohol on your system, but maybe to a lesser extent. Okay. Like, I would just want to know. Isn't that crazy? The body is so amazing. Except for when people are trying to tell us what we need to do with it and make laws that, you know. The body is so amazing. I've never heard of that in my life. Your body makes alcohol. If that's not a party trick, I don't know what is. If that is not a party, that has to be, what's that? With great power comes great responsibility, because somebody could use that for evil. Like, I don't know how. I wouldn't trust anybody, because at this point, are you using me just for what I can do for you, which is, you know, potentially. Oh, I just had so many thoughts. What if you are intimate with that person? Sorry. Wait, how old? Like, y'all. Yo, that has got to be a different experience. I didn't think about that until just now. You could only have certain jobs. Well, okay, I wonder if, does it happen at certain times? Like if you're more anxious, is it just an all day? That would be terrible if like all day you feel intoxicated. Like, nah, I don't want to do that. I'm real curious. I ain't never heard of that. But listen, 3 doctors confirmed. So if it's so rare, I bet you most doctors haven't even seen this in their career, you know, in their like career lifetime. Because there's some psychological stuff where there's one thing I think I encountered that's a pretty rare diagnosis. And I'm pretty sure I did. I'm pretty certain. But I just feel like somebody's gonna use this. Somebody is gonna be like, I know you were out drinking with people. And they're gonna be like, but I was not. Why? You smell like alcohol. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to this man. I for real imagine that is tough. Because I'm guessing the story is that he got arrested, right? He got arrested and he's like, I have not consumed any alcohol. I wonder if he knew if he had the disorder. I wonder if he already knew. 100% whoever arrested him did not believe him, because I wouldn't believe him. If you get arrested for drunk driving and you're like, I have auto brewery, and I would probably say it like I'm drunk. I have auto brewery syndrome. That doesn't even sound real. Gut fermentation sounds realer. But auto brewery syndrome? Like, nah, I wouldn't believe him either. And you know, everybody about to use that as their get out of jail card. That is crazy. I ain't never heard that. Somebody is for sure about to use that one. They're about to use it. All of a sudden it's going to be like 500 reported cases. It's not even that likely. It's rare. It's rare. So I'm going to go into this shade Minty and use that for the inner corner, and I'm using the number 29 Yummy brush. This is the Yummy Blender Small. Okay, so I'm not done, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a video doing the rest of my face, because I want to use some of these other brushes for the face, and then I'm going to come back when all of that is on, and we'll see, okay? So I will be right back, and I will then have on a full face, but this is pretty much the eye look. The only thing I'm gonna do once I put on like concealer and stuff is to put some shades on my under eye, mascara, and all of that jazz, but I will be right back. So here is the finished look. That's it. This was fun to do, and there were fun things to talk about, and I have more news stories, so I will be doing more looks. I hope that some of this was helpful, and I also hope that you're continuing to take care of yourself. I will love it if you like the video, and I would love it even more if you subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.